It goes on. We're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call to order the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office Area Office of Emergency Services for April 17, 2014. May we have the roll call, please?
Here.
Here.
Pacifica is here. She'll be to a degree.
Here.
San Mateo. Here. South San Francisco. Woodside.
Dave Burrow.
County of San Mateo.
Here. Oh, great. We're going to move on to item number 2, and that's the approval of the minutes of January 16, 2014. Is there a motion to approve or any corrections? Please. Ms. Nagel? Okay. Can I ask you to turn the microphones on when you speak? I couldn't hear you, and I'm not sure if you're being recorded.
Ah.
There we go.
Okay.
You want to repeat what you said, Terry?
Okay, it's just a small correction on page 2. Change the year 2014 in the third paragraph to 2013 under the comment by Clark Conway.
Okay. Any other additions or corrections?
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that motion passes.
Great job on the minutes.
Just want to know you're there, Clark. For the consent agenda, is there a motion to approve items number 1 and 2?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that motion passes. If you don't mind, we're going to make a little bit of a change in the agenda. We're going to start with the JPA status update, and then I've asked if we could move the budget forward. I actually have a conflict this evening. I'm going to have to leave, well, preferably by 6, but 6:15 at the latest. So we're going to try to tackle those 2 items first, if that's okay with the rest of the group. So if Captain Weiss will start with the JPA status update for us.
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair and members of the council. Good evening. I wanted to give you a little update on the status of the JPA. As you may remember from our last meeting, we had quite a bit of dialogue associated with the process in which the JPA was going through the different councils throughout the county. And that we kind of agreed that any council members that had any concerns at that time would forward any information to me, which we would then catalog, and we would look at that as a possible amendment a year or so down the road. So I did receive communication from several of you, and we have cataloged that. Moving forward, I'm happy to report that all cities have put the JPA through all their councils, and it is back in the hands of our office, and we are processing that through our approval process for the Board of Supervisors. And part of that process includes going to County Council for one final review. And literally at about noon today, I got a call from County Council asking for a meeting. And so myself and Don Matei went over there, and what was explained to me is the document that was forwarded to all the councils was missing some key elements that County Council had proposed as part of the edits as the document was being developed. And much like our discussion last meeting, the comments that he made were substantive. They were stuff that go to the legal binding of the JPA. So, unfortunately, I'm here to deliver bad news, and this is my fault for not ensuring that the edits were appropriately brought over and it should have been double-checked, triple-checked before it went out to each of the cities. What I did is immediately got back to my office and I sent a letter to all the city managers advising them of this so they can be aware of that. And my recommendation is to essentially make the edits, make it all right, include any of the information that was given to me from the last meeting, present back to you at the next meeting a final that will incorporate all the proposed edits, the substantive changes that County Council suggested, and then unfortunately, and again I apologize, begin the process of sending it back through the councils again. Now the other alternative, and we could maybe address it at that time, is, as you'll see later in the agenda, is that we are working with the airport as joining and becoming a member of the council. And if that were to happen, we would have to do another amendment again to kind of update that and include them as a member agency. So we don't know how long that's going to take, and Don Mateo will update us on that. But again, if we come to June, our next meeting, and we report a status there, we might have a little bit more closer time frame where we are with the airport, and we may decide to hold off a little bit longer or just go ahead and continue forward.
Captain, can I ask a question? If people have comments, additional comments, now that we have a little bit more time, can they still submit things to you at this point?
Absolutely. No better time like now. Right now would be great.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any comments or questions? I mean, I guess to me, I'm glad we caught it at least before it went to the state and then have them send it back to us. So this way it does give us a little bit more time, can incorporate some things that the comments that were made at our last meeting, and therefore maybe people want to take one more hard look at it as well. And if there's any additional comments, we'll try to incorporate them and revisit it in the next meeting. So
I would, for lack of a better phrase or term, I mean, it is an opportunity to, take that last check on it. Any feedback or considerations, we'll do it. We'll incorporate it and bring it back before the council.
Okay. Any questions or comments for the captain? Okay.
Again, I apologize.
Do you need anything from us? I mean, just
no.
no
Again,
real
communication back out to the city managers. I will probably share that with the police chiefs and the fire chiefs as well. And then we will open up a communication with you to solicit any other recommendations with maybe a closing period before we come back to you so we can incorporate them all in one final document.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and we'll look forward to seeing another round. Okay, we are going to move item number 1 under new business forward, and that is the revised budget for fiscal year 14-15. You should have some attachments, and the subcommittee, the finance subcommittee, did meet in between, so we did get a chance to hash this through, and Elena Portis is going to walk us through.
Yes, good evening. Elena Portis, I'm the Deputy Director of Sheriff's Administrative Services, and tonight I am requesting the approval of the revised fiscal year 2014-15 budget. At the April 2014 meeting, the council adopted its first biennial budget covering fiscal years 2013-14 and 14-15, and it is common for agencies that have 2-year budgets to go back and adopt revisions to year 2. And these revisions reflect items that were unknown at the time of budget adoption. At the last council meeting, we discussed the fact that a COLA was given to staff in November 2013, and we believed that we were going to need to appropriate additional fund balance to cover those increases. But we have good news. There's no need for additional appropriations. And that is due to a decrease in other charges within the OES budget. Other charges representing internal service charges from other county departments, including Information Services and the Department of Public Works. The proposed revised budget for the JPA is a little over $2,096,000, and it is $871 less than the previously adopted budget. As you may be aware, the budget is presented in 2 parts. We have the Office of Emergency Services and we have HAZMAT. The HAZMAT budget for 14-15 will remain as previously adopted, and all of the changes will be found in the Office of Emergency Services. On the second page of the document that you have before you, we have all of the changes listed in detail. The major changes are found in salaries and benefits and in other charges. Salaries and benefits increased by approximately $29,000. This is due to the 3% COLA adjustment and an increase in retirement rates. The retirement rates increased by about 7% from 30% of salaries to 32%, and that's due to an increase in contribution for the unfunded liability. These significant decreases are found in 3 areas: telephone services, information services, and office space. Telephone services, the charges are provided by the county's Information Services Department and is based on the number of connections or devices that we have, and it is estimated to decrease by $9,600. ISD also provides us with charges for network connectivity for the JPA, and they have changed the methodology for charging. They no longer charge OES directly for network connectivity. Instead, they charge the sheriff's office for a new charge called Core IT, which covers network connectivity, email, the county data center, IT security, and items such as that. At this time, within the sheriff's office, we do not allocate the Core IT services to the different divisions, so we're reflecting in the budget a decrease of $6,720 in that area. The county's Department of Public Works charges us for rent. The rent covers operations, maintenance, and debt service for the facility. And this calculation also changed slightly. In previous years, the rent reflected, or it included an upward adjustment to market value, and they no longer include that in the rent calculation, and that has resulted in a $14,000 savings per year. So all of these things together, including some minor changes that I won't go over in detail but are listed in the packet, represent an $871 decrease in the budget. And as you know, the budget is funded by grants, agency contributions, and is balanced by the use of fund balance. So the proposed budget maintains agency contributions at the levels that were previously adopted, but it decreases the use of fund balance by the $871. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions at this time.
Who wants to argue with saving money? Okay, very good. Anybody have any questions?
Through the chair.
Yes.
Really quickly, and thank you for the report, the details, is we keep using the fund balance, as we know, and then hopefully it balances out. At some point, that either may go away, or I don't know what my colleagues' thoughts are about having some reserve instead, because there are times it may come up where we're going to have significant costs, and then maybe our organizations and cities and towns wouldn't be hit as hard. So I don't know if that's one thing that's been considered.
Yes, we actually will be bringing a fund balance policy to the council for approval at a future meeting, which will address the need for reserves, target reserve levels, and the use of fund balance. Within this 2-year budget, we anticipated a 2% increase in year 2, and we talked about a 5-year forecast with increases by the agencies in order to remove our reliance on fund balance. So that will be reflected in future budgets, plus we'll also talk about the fund balance policy.
And just so you know, the Finance Committee did talk about that issue and wanted to hash it out a little bit more. And we did talk about trying to have a fund balance or a reserve and maybe come up with a not to exceed number, because you don't want to sit on too much money, because some of that money could go back to the cities, but you don't want to have it so small that you have to keep coming back and asking the cities for more. So we're going to try to tweak that a little bit with the next finance meeting and try to bring something back that we can share and see if everybody likes the idea. So that's a great question. Yes, Terry.
On the page of the budget, I don't see numbers, but it's the one with the green shading at the top. It's a spreadsheet that says Office of Emergency Services, and it starts with the budget account 4,000 on the left side. The third group down, management fee. I just wondered if you could explain what management fee is all about.
The management fee is the cost of the lieutenant and fiscal services. I believe in the past, it was before my time, they were actually outlined the same manner as the other employees, but it's just a flat fee that we have been charging for the past 5 years with no increases. That covers a portion of the lieutenant's salary and fiscal services
To manage.
to manage.
Oh,
OES,
yes. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of Elena? If not, is there a motion to approve the budget?
So moved. Second, Millbrae.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you, Elena. Great job. Thank you for leading our finance committee as well.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. I was on the subcommittee.
Okay, I'm going to stay for just one more here, since I still have a little bit more time. Why don't we move into the Skylon radio tower lease update? I'd like to do that one. Is Chris Flatmo here? No?
Chris is not here, but he did provide me an email with the status, and Chris and I are in, pretty much constant communication regarding this, although it is not very constant because there's not a whole lot going on, primarily because the owners up at Skylon are not changing anything. Their master plan has not been developed yet. However, the last communication that we had with them, that we are anticipating that we'll have something from them by May or in May, and then that would be the lease agreement. The terms that we discussed at the last couple of meetings have not changed. It's a 12-year agreement, 12 years, about approximately $2,500 a month, 2% increase with a 10% cap, and that has to be spread out over the term. And essentially, we would think that we would get that in May from Skylon. We would address the lease agreement with County Council and County Real Property, and then hopefully present it back to you after that time. But that's really the status. We're really in limbo until they produce their master plan. But between now and then, we're on a month-to-month and at a rate of $22.50, and that's pretty secure for the time being.
Thank you. Any questions for the captain? Okay, hearing none. I am going to have to leave, and I've asked Councilmember Rico Medina from San Bruno to take over for me. Thank you all.
Let's go right down to the next item on old business, item number 3, San Francisco International Airport, JPA ESC update.
Good evening, Council. Actually, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we're having a conference call, myself and the County Attorney David Silverman with their airport representative, their attorney, at 10 o'clock discussing the agreement. And so I'll update you when I have more information, but I thought that was pretty positive to get them to this point at least start talking to us. Any questions on that? Because I'll
Any
go
questions from council?
so. The second one is the Great Shakeout. We did have that. It was a tsunami exercise this year on March 27th. Both two EOCs were open, the county EOC at Half Moon Bay, which incorporates our unincorporated area, and Pacifica. The city of Pacifica was open along with our EOC in Redwood City. We kind of started the drill. It was a tsunami exercise. We started the drill with a tactical alert out to all law enforcement agencies that our tsunami protocol was going to be in effect because we're expecting this wave. At the Half Moon Bay exercise, we had CAL FIRE, Large Animal Rescue, Sheriff's Office, Harbor, Airport, Half Moon Bay Airport, Red Cross, and HAMS, and I'm sure Pacifica pretty much had the same folks at their EOC. I don't know if the captain wants to say a few words. Or no. Okay, we're good. Yeah, we thought it was pretty successful. We learned a lot about it. We learned a lot of it. We did have some little stressful incidents, in our EOC, but we're working through those as far as Half Moon Bay and county interactions go. So we're practicing that. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from council? Thank you very much. Go under to new business. EMA update, Silver Dragon.
Members of the council, I'm Captain Pat Halloran. I'm the president of the San Mateo County Emergency Managers Association, and the association has become very active. Our average attendance at our monthly meeting has grown to over 40 people. We now have representation from not only the JPA member cities and allied agencies, but utilities such as Cal Water, the Mid-Peninsula Water District, PG&E, Stanford Linear Accelerator, which most people don't realize is wholly within San Mateo County, and other allied agencies. It's a very active group. We're working on several things right now. We've participated in such things as we assisted OES with the selection of vendors under several grants that affected emergency management in the county, including of which is a grant to do 4 zone exercises in 2014, 2015 to exercise different capabilities within the county. And a subcommittee has been formed to work with the vendor to help tailor those exercises to the needs of San Mateo County. So it's been a very active year. We've worked with county communications on establishing standardized radio call signs for each of the jurisdictions so that their emergency managers can get onto the radio and everyone will understand who they are and what their function is. We're working with the police chiefs and sheriffs on this also. We're also working on sheltering issues within the county to standardize those. And as I said, it's been a very busy year, exciting year, and we just keep moving forward with different things. And the more things we seem to do, the more we want to do. So it's been a really good year. One of the big events for the year is the Silver Dragon exercise, which is actually a public health exercise that the cities participate in. And I'd like to call up Carl Hess, who is the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Manager, to explain a little bit about Silver Dragon and how it went this morning. The exercise was conducted this morning.
Good evening, council members. I'm Carl Hess, Public Health Emergency Preparedness Manager. Silver Dragon is a full-scale exercise conducted annually. Today's was the 8th annual Silver Dragon 8. The origin is from grant funding through the CDC. Goes back to about 2001 during anthrax, and this Homeland Security decided to channel money through CDC to each health jurisdiction in the United States to prepare for and plan for a bioterrorism event. One of the deliverables for that grant is to demonstrate to the CDC that we are able to provide, we the health department are able to provide medical countermeasures to the entire population within 48 hours of an event. That's difficult. The standard model is to open up gymnasiums and have the public stand in line for that during that kind of a crisis. And thanks to my early counsel from Chief Don Mateo, who was chief of Belmont PD at the time, and Foster City Fire Chief, who's now retired, Tom Reeves, both of them said, don't do it that way. Better off to use our fire department managed CERT teams. It's less security, much more efficient. And in fact it is. So today we had about 385 volunteers. We hit 15,000 households in about 2.5 hours. The CDC came out from Atlanta and observed today and were extremely impressed. Took a lot of pictures, made our county look very good. And I wish to thank all of my CERT coordinators that are standing behind me for helping me out, because without them, I could not have accomplished this mission. And our county right now, I believe, is one of the best in the nation in that mission. So kudos to the people who are working in your emergency services.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Is there any
Very good.
questions, Carl?
Yes, City Millbrae?
Thank you.
No, Mark.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and Carl, thank you so much. I know you did come up to Millbrae today. Just want to comment, no question, but make a comment to, as you said, thank all of the staff through all the agencies. It is a job to put Silver Dragon drills together, and it seemed to be, from our perspective, less confusion, less problems. Everybody seemed to be doing everything on time. We were also very grateful to have the ability through the Millbrae drill to be on the main radio channel with your office and Foster City and some of the other agencies down the peninsula. It was really wonderful for Captain Malloy of our Millbrae Fire Department and also our ham operators and others to be able to have that connection. I wanted to say in our city, we were very fortunate. We had 46 CERT volunteers. We have over 120 who have gone through the CERT program so far. And many of those people have jobs. Some of them plan keep one of their vacation holidays for Silver Dragon so that they could come. We have some very creative and innovative technologies that you saw and others saw. And we were really excited because we had 14 visitors come to our city, and they were representative of the let's see here, American Red Cross. We had 2 people come from American Red Cross. We had an observer come from the city of Berkeley. We had an evaluator come from the city of Berkeley. We had Miss Tara Brown from CDC, who flew out from Atlanta and accompanied you, and Jean Frazier, the health department manager for the county. That, I think, was her first time coming to Millbrae. And we had Miss Loftus from the California Highway Patrol, and yourself, Carl. So we thank you very much, also from the health department. And it was very, very exciting to have you folks come, because we had, I think, all 20 of our new CERT volunteers present and anxious to take care of it. And we're very proud to see that people do take an interest and come to our localities during Silver Dragon, and shows that our county is interested. And our mayor stopped in, and I on the council, as you know, and I participated. I took the first CERT training, so I was planning division chief this morning. Made sure everybody had their ID with them, and Councilmember Holliber, our city manager, Ed Barberini, our police chief, our fire chief, our fire captain, our city clerk came and told the folks about what a PIO does. So we just had a very, very wonderful and successful. We went in our city, delivered 1,500. And what was interesting about Silver Dragon 8 was that in the Silver Dragons that our city has participated in, and the way we divided up our districts, up until today, we had covered all of our districts. So today was unique for us because we started over at the beginning of the districts. So thank you so much. And for cities who do have CERT programs, you know, be proud of what you have. Try to work on the Silver Dragon projects. And for those of you who don't, I really, really encourage you, because this is an opportunity to get your community pulling together for CERT programs and for really valuable experience and help in the time an event, a disaster occurs, when the first responders cannot get everywhere. So it was just, you know, really wonderful for us, and it seems every year to get better and better. So thank you for giving me the opportunity for giving those comments.
Thank you, Marge. Sue?
Yes, I'm very happy that you were counseled to not do the gymnasium lineup and to use the CERT folks. I think if you wouldn't mind, from your office, if a letter explaining all this, how it went, came to the city so that all our CERT programs, I think the community would be pleased to realize how valuable all their training has done to create such a community strengthening for safety. So I appreciate that.
Thank your captain, Joe Spanheimer. He did a great job today.
I'm sure he did.
Any other questions from the council? Colonel, thank you very much for the update, and good job. Let's go ahead.
I just wanted to check, I'm sorry, I apologize. After Carl was done, I just wanted to make sure that if there were any questions regarding the Emergency Managers Association, if the council members had any questions, I wanted to give an opportunity to get those before. Well, thank you.
Gives us an opportunity to thank you. All right, Red Cross update. Report, college, MOUs.
Where's Olga?
Good evening, members of the council. I'm Olga Crow. I'm with the American Red Cross in San Mateo County. I don't have an update on the college MOUs today because we kind of completed the work. We've done the shelter surveys and the facilities and shelter use agreements with the colleges. We do have a new project now. We're going to the school districts and high schools and middle schools throughout the county to update our agreements with them. Most of them are outdated. The schools have been remodeled or, redone. So we need to do that. We have emailed, I believe, 135 schools in San Mateo County. And so far, our return is about 31% have responded back with either setting up meetings and appointments with us or asking for more information and the next steps. And we're going to be following up with the other 70 or 69 or so percent manually by phone and so forth. The other thing I wanted to update you on is March was the Red Cross month. It was a National Red Cross month, and most of the cities throughout the county have issued proclamations to that. So I thank you all of the cities that did. It was wonderful, and hopefully the few that could not will join us in the next year. It is very important for us, and I know it's important for the communities that we serve, and we can provide you more details if you need them. And one last item is our Heroes Breakfast is coming up on May 29th. Unfortunately, I don't have invitations yet. They're not ready, but as soon as they are, I'll be forwarding them to you through OES, and I know some of you have attended them in the past, and I hope to see more of you in the future. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Vice Chair. Olga, you had mentioned that you're still waiting to get some surveys back. Is there any way we can help you out with it? We have relationships with our school districts as well. Could you email us? Would that be difficult?
No,
For
not
each
at
of
all.
our cities, so we can reach out to those school districts, because that is critical for you to get. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's critical for all of our communities because we do need to know which areas of the schools we can and cannot use. And, some have changed their designations and such. So, yes. Would it be convenient if I emailed through OES and just send them the information and then it'd be forwarded? Excellent. Thank you. And did you have a question?
Yes, I'm just concerned about special needs classes. They're probably on your radar, but they obviously have extra needs, and that the county classes a lot of times are in the individual districts. So I don't know how you compile information on that.
You're talking about population with access and function needs?
Yes, special needs, Down syndrome, autism, so.
We as a Red Cross don't have a community offering regarding special needs classes. We comply with all the federal and state regulations and our sheltering procedures, obviously, but we don't offer community training except for FAST teams, which are county-based teams, state-based teams of specialty trained personnel that goes to shelters once they're established and ensures that population with access and function needs, that their needs are met. I think this is probably something that I would work with maybe OES and public health and figure out what community classes may there be.
That would be a good idea, I think so.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll put it on my radar
Appreciate
and
that.
we'll address
I'll
it.
help you in any way I can.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Thank you for the report.
All right, thank you.
Let's move on to public comment. Any members of the public that wish to address the council this evening? It is a no. Let's go on to announcements. Do we have any announcements from the council?
I do, Vice Chair.
Please.
Just wanted to remind you all that a year ago we, and many of you maybe attended the summit at Oracle Conference Center beyond Newtown. There is a follow-up to that. We're calling it a progress report, and it's going to be at the College of San Mateo on May 5th from 8 a.m. till about noon. If you haven't received an email invitation, have you? Anybody? Does that sound familiar? Okay, good. So we're looking forward to seeing. It's going to be an outstanding event. We're going to be able to update you on what's been happening over the last year and then where we're going from moving forward. Our keynote speaker is a mother who lost her daughter at Newtown, and it'll guarantee to be an emotional presentation. So I encourage you to all be there, and we look forward to seeing you. And the last thing, or one more thing, is last meeting we talked about an annual report that captures first annual report that the Homeland Security Division and OES produced. We just finalized it literally today, and unfortunately, I just realized this kind of got spread out. It looks kind of ugly, like a scrambled egg. So we're going to go back and edit this, and then we're going to push this out electronically to all the city managers, police chiefs, fire chiefs, yourselves, and get it out electronically so you all have it in your email by Monday for sure. And then lastly, any feedback about this location? Is this working good?
Yeah.
What does the
Nice.
council think? Does everybody, do you care for the basement, or are you okay?
Good, okay, so we're gonna, we're
That's not
gonna,
pretty unanimous.
Well, just one comment is that it's hard to see each other,
yes.
you know, so I don't know what the solution is to that.
Erin had already suggested maybe having some type of, she was saying that to me, having people's backs and then trying to see who they are and having a different configuration. So that was already on her mind before she left.
We worked through that as best we could with the space and then also the capability of the video camera to capture what we can, and this is what the best we kind of came up with. And it's not ideal, we totally get that, but any feedback or suggestions on how to not get the front table looking back at the rest of you while you're commenting, we'll take it, but this is probably the best we can do.
That we're okay to turn around and look at you, right?
Well, the acoustic is definitely better.
Yes.
So I appreciate that.
I think it really serves the public interest that there is a recording that people can access and, you know, on the internet, so that if they want to know what we do, they can find out.
And we will get the recording today and post it as soon as possible and get it up there. And then again, also, I appreciate the assistance from everybody in getting the meeting agendas and staff reports off of the web. That seems to be working out well as far as, at least on our end. Hopefully it's working out with all of you and your staff. And I think we're saving a few trees in that way, and hopefully it'll work out moving forward.
Let's go in this order. Brisbane, Burlingame, Millbrae, Pacifica.
One quick announcement that tomorrow is the 108th anniversary of the 1906 earthquake.
Oh, yeah.
Since we recognize the 50th anniversary of the Alaskan quake, this one's a little bit closer to home. And also our Randy Bro, our Public Works Director, is being recognized by the League of California Cities by all of his peers as being the top public works employee in the state of California. So,
That's great. Wonderful.
you know, Randy didn't want me to mention that, but
Congratulations.
Never hurts.
That's great. I just wanted to ask, we had a citywide drill a week ago, and or actually just Saturday, and we found out by people that we encouraged to sign up for SMC Alert that there was a major problem with the website. It was telling people it was an untrusted site, and I wondered if you could tell me what that was all about. I think it's been fixed.
It has been completely resolved.
Okay.
It had to do with a licensing certificate that was pending expiration. It's been completely renewed, and its system's
Okay.
back up and operational.
So people won't be scared off now?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know that.
Sure.
Marge?
Thank you. Captain, for the sake of the viewing audience, could you give us the website of where the annual report and other information is going to be posted, please?
We'll email it to you initially, and then we will
email.
post it on our website.
And your website address is?
It's San Mateo County Sheriff, and I think you have to go to the OES subpage to find us.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry, I got so excited about hearing about CERT that I forgot my other question previous. I did have a question. At one time, interoperability, being able to talk to each other, say to the SFO or to San Francisco, is that better now?
In terms of radio communication?
Yes,
I don't think that there's an issue.
Oh, good.
primarily with that. I mean,
Happy to hear.
On the Asiana aircraft, we were communicating with them.
And we can do it with San Francisco as well?
Yes. In fact, I mean, there's a huge effort in the Bay Area region to increase interoperability, and that is occurring, throughout all the counties surrounding the Bay Area, switching from one radio system to another, and that is underway. The sheriff's office is in the process of upgrading new radios right now, and time will tell if some of the city jurisdictions get off of the current platform and get onto a 700 megahertz.
That's quite a feat, because I remember about 10 years ago it was considered extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Any other announcements? If not, we have our next scheduled meeting on June 19th. I'm assuming it'll be here then?
Yes, it will.
Fair, okay. With that, thank everybody for this evening. Enjoy your weekend. This meeting is adjourned.
All right.
That was great.
Turn the air conditioner on next.
Oh, warm.